First, Undisputed comes up right after we go off the air. Jenny Taps, good morning to you. You know what? After our show is over, comes another great show, and almost an even better show.
It's called Undisputed.
Jenny,
not better, Jenna.
Not better. Not equally as good as our show. What do you guys have going on today? Save me. Help.
We have a packed show today on Undisputed. What got Richard Sherman so heated before facing Baker Mayfield? And is Jason Garrett wearing out his welcome in Dallas? Plus, Reggie Bush is in studio with us. Undisputed coming up next. Jenna, have a great rest of your show. We'll try to pick up where you guys left off.
And I know you will, Jenny. Thanks so much. Look forward to it. Time for us to go viral here on First Things First. It has been 2 years since Baker planted the flag following a win at Ohio State, but former Buckeye Nick Bosa showed last night that no one's forgotten that. Take a listen as he explained why following the game.
And the flag. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think everybody knows what that was for. Just wanted to get payback. He had it coming.
How long were you thinking about that? Like, when did you come up with that idea?
Probably during the bye. Me and my buddy Sam, who plays with the Bengals, he played DN with me that year. And I told him I was going to do it, and then he was like, "Hey, I was going to do it when we played them." But I'm glad we won.
You were at that game. Yes. Even as a proud Ohio Stater, you weren't mad at what Baker did. But no. Baker's got a lot of players are trying to get a lot of get back for Baker. Sherm talked about before and after the game.
This is what I said earlier. Like, people love it and it's great, but there are players who are going to respond. And why give players any extra motivation when the game is enough motivation in the competition?
Well, I don't think Baker was 2 years ago thinking if I plant this flag, then one day Nicky Bosa is going to come get me.
No, he doesn't think about a lot of the stuff that he does, Jenna. And you're right. Why create all those enemies and everything? And the reason why they do it, Jenna, because they don't know any better. Oh, I'm just trying to be the best me and everything. Okay, all right. You keep making enemies all around the National Football League, everyone be trying to take shots at you.
It's fair, but just real quick on this, because I know we're talking about the game. Sherm, who took such issue with him, I'm old enough to remember a very young Richard Sherman running up to Tom Brady after the Seahawks in 2012 beat him, saying, "You mad, bro?" And Sherm took that chip on his shoulder mentality to be a fourth-round pick to now no one in the league's had more picks over this.
No, I don't think you should be shaking hands. Don't come up to me before the game. "Hey, man, how you doing? Good luck to you." Man, I'm going to talk to you after the game. I'm getting ready to play a football game, and I'm not concerned about how you feel, and I'm less concerned about how you feel about me. And what I'm going to have to do to you, I ain't out here to be trying to shake hands. This ain't the NBA. "Hey, man, how you doing? Oh, man, we're going to come to camp this summer, do all that." Get out my face with all that, man. This is the NFL, man. Richard Sherman. Oh, he got to shake people's hand before the game. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah,
well, we just snuck that segment in, so we don't have to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, give them something to get started for. Yeah, ask Shannon. You over there kissing, hugging. "Oh, how you doing? Boo, 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 boo." Get out my face, man. Get out my face.
All right. Speaking of Monday Night Football and getting out of his face,
get out my face.
Cleveland looking to get above 500 for the first time since 2014. After last night, may as well have been 2014 with the way they played. Richard Sherman picking off Baker Mayfield there later in the first. Baker looking, scrambling, sacked, fumbles. The ball recovered by Nicky Bosa. Just under 5 minutes left in the first half. Mayfield intercepted. Again, looking for Antonio Callaway in the end zone. Baker, terrible night. 8 for 22, 100 yards, 3 turnovers. What was his quarterback rating, Nick? 14.3. Here he is after the loss.
Once again, I'm not hitting the panic button. I think for us, it's just, we know the problem. We know we have to, be better. We just have to do better. And when you play a great team, you have to eliminate mistakes. You just have to. We know exactly what we need to do. We need to play well. We need to do our job each and every play, and not lose sight, the goal at hand.
You can't have mistakes. You can't have, turnovers. You can't have drops. You can't have penalties. That's offensively, that kind of summed us up, We just shot ourselves in the foot too many times.
All right, Steve, start with you. What went so wrong for the Cleveland Browns last night?
Well, for one, we can't act as if the Browns have been a mark of consistency the first month of the season.
Nope.
They've been inconsistent. The thing that we thought about before the season, which might give them the most problem besides the unknown, what does this young team do? And that's one of your issues you had with them when they hit a tough stretch. We don't know which month it's going to be. We didn't think it was going to be the first month, but they hit a tough stretch right there, and you could see, is this team really ready for prime time? They do not. I think they have 11 players total on their roster that have playoff experience, and they got a lot of young players that have lost a lot of games. So regardless of what the expectations are, they haven't been consistent, and the weakest unit on their team, a lot like my team the last couple years, the Minnesota Vikings, they could not cover up for bad offensive line play. And if you watch Baker, when he drops back to pass, you let me know how many of his offensive linemen, if they're not at the same level with Baker, watch how many of them are behind Baker. And that is not the way you protect a quarterback. You have to keep people at the line of scrimmage and create a pocket so that one of the shorter quarterbacks we've ever had as a starter in the league can see down the field, can dissect the defense, can understand, and so that he doesn't feel rushed. I just wish in the press conference that he would have removed "we" and said "me." Because Baker Mayfield, at some point, he's got to understand, yes, it is a team sport, but a lot of that team issues are around individual performances. And right now, he's not playing good enough for the Cleveland Browns to be able to win. Yeah, I could point out the left tackle. Yeah, I could point out the left guard. I could say something about the center. But they weren't the first pick in the draft. And they weren't the ones supposed to turn this franchise around. And they were already a question mark. I didn't think the quarterback was going to be a question mark. And through 5 games, he is a huge question mark in year number 2. Who is Baker Mayfield?
And that is the Browns' biggest problem.
Oh, well, let's go home.
Because we knew the offensive line would be mediocre at best. And we knew Freddie Kitchens was going to have some, if not an enormous amount, of first-year coaching struggles. Bill Belichick, when his first year as a head coach with the Cleveland Browns, by the way, had some struggles. Like, there is no head coach that walks into, it's very rare, you have Sean McVay. First-year head coach, it all works great. So those 2 questions weren't even really questions. They were just, we didn't like the answer. Offensive line ain't going to be great. Coach is going to be spotty. But because we believed, certainly me,
yes,
overwhelming talent on defense, great additions in the skill position guys with Chubb in year 2, most notably, of course, bringing in Odell, and a quarterback in year 2 that in this era we have seen the star quarterbacks become the full versions of themselves in year 2. Jared Goff did, Patrick Mahomes did, Russell Wilson did, Carson Wentz did. Why wouldn't the guy that set the all-time NFL rookie quarterback touchdown record be the same trajectory as those guys with more weapons, with having some success last year? Instead, show the numbers. Baker's been one of the worst quarterbacks in football this year. There's only 32 teams. He's 32nd in rating. He's 33rd in completion percentage because there have been some injuries.
Wow.
That's not all offensive line.
No, exactly right, John. 100%. The guy that right now is your leading candidate for league MVP, Russell Wilson, if he's not leading, he's in the top 3, has an offensive line similar to the Browns. And now I'm not asking Baker to be Russell, but you can't blame it all on the offensive line or on the height, because Russell's got both them problems, and he's fine. Can't blame it on the skill position, guys, because Baker's got better of those than Russell. Now, maybe holding Baker Mayfield in year 2 to Russell Wilson in year 8 standards is unfair, but Baker's got to stop turning the ball over. And that second pick wasn't on him. That was a great pass to Callaway, but I thought you made a really good point, see? They struggled in this game because it looked like they weren't calling a game to give themselves the best chance to win.
Against that defense.
They were calling a game to make people happy.
No doubt.
Odell, career low in catches and yards, so first play of the game, let's let him throw a pass. Let's hand him the ball. Callaway, he's been out suspended. They get one pass picked off, forcing the ball to him. Second pass picked off because the guy just pops the ball up in the air.
Yep.
And it's not taking anything away from San Francisco, who has great defensive talent. Offensive line played really well and an excellent stable of running backs. But the Browns no-showed yesterday, and that's unforgivable.
I don't know what Freddie Kitchens saw in the pregame that this team, San Francisco's on a bye. I'm going to run a reverse, have the receiver reverse field, and then throw a pass. Like if you're playing at home and you're trying to get the crowd involved, you're trying to get a 20, 30-yard gain, because this is not a touchdown play. It lets me know that he's trying to please the players compared to, I'm going to attack this defense. Callaway, he's coming back from a 4-game suspension. I'm throwing the ball to him as my primary receiver early in the game. Why? I want to get him involved compared to what's best against that defense. So that's something I want to watch going forward compared to how we're going to take this defense apart compared to I want to make this guy happy. I want to make this guy happy. And when you're losing, it becomes more important to make guys happy because winning typically takes care of that.
How did Kyle Shanahan open his offensive night? Gut you for 80 yards.
Yeah, you got 8 guys in the box. I'm getting ready to send 2 tight ends at you and a fullback, cut you under your knees, take this, hit you under your chin. That's how we're going to play football.
Right, set the template for the whole game.
He wanted an identity.
All right, let's switch gears, talk some Dallas Cowboys now.